The Devil Blues by I Know a Man on AO3. Episode 10, Chapter 6, Clue. Izuku finds Sergeant Ida in the precinct break room with Todoroki, the two of them holding identical white cups of steaming something, and seemingly engaging in a heated discussion of sorts. Izuku approaches them with Bakugo in tow, and their arrival draws the conversation to a sudden end. Izuku comes to a stop before them, and frowns between the two. Sorry, am I interrupting? Not at all, Todoroki says quickly. Nipping right at the heel of his response, the sergeant reveals, Detective Todoroki seems to have taken notice of one of the pro-heroes at our precinct. They're all noticeable. Todoroki cuts in swiftly. They are not part of their precinct, and as such makes them noticeable, which is exactly what noticeable means. Izuku's eyebrows jump high on his forehead. Okay, you seem chill. Ida motions his cup in Todoroki's general direction. He noticed her in a romantic sense. Oh my god, really? Izuku whips out at his friend with a wicked grin. Who is it? Momo Yaoyorozu. Ida answers, since Todoroki's sudden embarrassment apparently makes him incapable of speech. She was the pro-hero assigned to work with Detective Juro. Oh, her! Izuku exclaimed with delight. The one you helped on the day the pro-heroes arrived? Todoroki's cheeks had lessened to just a slight tinge now, and he's able to confirm. That's her. Izuku looks over at Bakugo, who has been stood next to him as quiet and solid presence for the entirety of the conversation. You know her? If she was important, I'd remember her. The man answers in a level tone. Izuku rolls his eyes at the response. Just as he thinks his impression of Bakugo may have been premature, the man goes ahead and does something typically dickish like this. Well, aren't you just peachy? Todoroki mumbles as he takes a sip of his drink. Bakugo turns to Todoroki and narrows his eyes at the man. Izuku can already predict that some sort of verbal altercation is going to break out. Bakugo is an abrasive and rude individual, and Todoroki is someone who is stubborn and fiercely loyal to his morals. These two butting heads is something inevitable, and Izuku is sure it'll result in severe animosity between the two men, and Izuku rubbing his temple to hold off an upcoming headache. He's expecting something bad, but what occurs is so much worse. Aren't you Endeavor's kid? Bakugo asks bluntly. Everything comes to a stop. It takes a few seconds for Bakugo's words to register with Izuku. But when they do, he hesitantly jumps into defense mode. Todoroki absolutely hates being referred to as Endeavor's kid. Hates being known as the son of the most famous pro-hero in the country. Hates being reminded that he has any connection with the heartless man who was the cause of all his childhood and teen anxieties. He absolutely hates it. And he fought long and hard to build a reputation of his own in the police force, erasing any track of his parental ancestry. There is no response from Todoroki, but that doesn't stop Bakugo from barreling on. Fuck, you are. What are you doing working here, with the police? You could be doing so much more as a pro-hero. I heard of your quirk. I know what you can do. Izuku catches Todoroki, grinning his teeth in an effort not to lash out. He could feel the tension between the two men cracking in the air, like the rumble before the thunderstorm. Before the situation has a chance to derail any further, Izuku hurriedly jumps in. Sorry, I haven't introduced you all, have I? He puts on a fox smile that he's certain everyone in the group can detect. But Izuku being considered weird is way preferable to a fight breaking out. This is Bakugo Katsuki, my assigned pro-hero for the station cooperation operation. He ignores how all of them unanimously stare at him for no doubt unironically using the operation's full name. And these two are my fellow co-workers here at the 78th, Sergeant Ida and Detective Todoroki. Pleasure to meet you. The sergeant inclines his head in Bakugo's direction. He's the only person who extends any pleasantries. The other two, locked in a silent staring match. Izuku knows if he doesn't break them up soon, disaster will occur. And so he reduces that the best form of attention is to scatter the present group. Actually, Sergeant, Bakugo and I need your help. He starts, deliberatingly catching the man's gaze. We've been assigned to a drug case to solve, and we've reached a hitch in our investigation. We thought you might be able to help. What did this pertain to? The sergeant inquires. We need help identifying what could possibly be a gang-affiliated symbol. Izuku holds out a stack of the stakeout photos he and Bakugo had been accosting over earlier. We got photos right here that showcase the symbol. The sergeant sets down his cup and accepts the photos. His eyebrows have been drawn to crease his customary scowl of consideration, and Izuku seizes the opportunity to suspectingly wave Todoroki away with a pleading look. The man looks bewildered by his action, but when Izuku mimics calling him on the phone, while simultaneously shooting him away, realization hits him. With a subtle nod, Todoroki makes his silent departure. Izuku's shoulders sag with relief. Incident avoided. His gaze jumps between Todoroki and the sergeant, who is still browsing the stakeout photos, and Bakugo's eyes, lingering on Todoroki's retreating back. Well, the sergeant begins, snagging Izuku's full attention. I believe these bracelets shown here may belong to either the Namani gang or the Yamada gang. Their symbols are very similar, but unfortunately, I cannot distinguish these photos which gang symbol the individuals are wearing. Would it be possible for you to email me the photo so I can zoom in on the details on my computer? Izuku nods fiercely. Yes, of course. Thank you. The sergeant hands them back the pictures. I should be able to get back to you with an answer very shortly after receiving the photos. Thank you, sir. Izuku smiles, inwardly marveling at the sergeant's quick and precise course of action. Thank you. Bakugo adds more quietly. It is of no concern, the sergeant says, then turns to pick up his abandoned white mug. He looks over his shoulder to give the two men a twinning nod before making his way over to the break room. Izuku immediately whirls around to face Bakugo with a determined expression. Okay, let's go email those photos immediately. He shoots back to his desk at lightning speed and crashes into his chair, the force wheeling it somewhat. Izuku quickly wheels himself in front of the computer and taps away the keyboard, bringing up his email and creating a new message. He's in the middle of dragging all the stakeout photos from the case into the attachment when Bakugo coolly takes a seat. Izuku had honestly forgotten about the man in his rush back. It's a good thing the blonde knows where his desk is, because Izuku's not certain he would have gone looking for him until the email was sent off to the sergeant. Is it really necessary to ask for outside help? Bakugo drawls. Izuku continues putting together the email as he replies. We all work as a team, regardless of the individual cases. One of the many beauties of police work. No one is burdened by all the work on their own. He briefly looks up from the screen and motions at the case files that had been moved to the edges of his desk. I've already received some help with these cases, and a lot of the old ones I wouldn't have been able to solve without the help of my fellow officers. So what you're saying is you would have never solved the case on your own. Bakugo shakes his head with a huff. You really are fucking useless. Oh? Izuku challenges, hitting send on his computer. With that task over and done, he can now focus on his second one, teaching Bakugo a lesson. Izuku turns to the blonde with a grin and opens up the first drawer on his desk. Useless, you say. Bakugo scowls. What is that? This, Izuku declares loudly and proud, as he wields a thick, beige binder stuffed with papers. It's a binder that I put together with the help of my fellow officers, who were kind enough to contribute. About yours truly. Yours. You. He fumbled at the end, but made a quick recovery by hurriedly flipping through the pages of the binder. There are loads of information on you from your childhood, all throughout high school to the present. It's basically filled with everything we could find on you. Bakugo looks to be a mix between impressed and terrified, which isn't exactly what Izuku was expecting, but somehow it's the perfect reaction from someone as naturally unresponsive as the blonde. Izuku throws open the first page and slams his finger down on the first piece of intel. Katsuki Bakugo, lovely name, by the way, though obviously not as good as mine, was born on October 20th, 1989, at Shirakuma's Precinct General Hospital in Shirakuna. You were temperamental throughout childhood until today, you possessed awesome powers from childhood until today, and you've been a pain in the ass from childhood until today. That's really in there, huh? Bakugo intones. If you recall, this was a team effort by most people at the precinct. It seems you made quite the impression, despite limited interactions. A flash of pride appears on the man's face. What else is there? Izuku opens his mouth to ramble on, but suddenly shuts it. His eyes narrow suspiciously at the blonde. You really want to know? I thought your assignment was to show me how talented the police force are at their job. So show me. The challenge fans Izuku's determination, and he instantly dives into the binder. Well, your favorite food is anything spicy, but you have a preference for meat. Your favorite movie is District 9, and your favorite song is toss-up between AC/DC's Thunderstruck and Gun N' Rose, Welcome to the Jungle, which shows you have a partake for old rock music. Your hobbies include rock climbing, breakdancing, and watching Bob Ross video. Man's a fucking genius. I know, Izuku exclaims with ecstatically, almost vibrating out of his seat. I love his episodes where he does winter scenes. They're just perfect. Anyways, your noticeable incidents and interactions with fans include the following. Cussing out a fan who tried to grab your water bottle during one of your training sessions at UA, yelling at a junior reporter for NTV when they ask whether your original idea for your pro hero name, King Explosion Murder, wasn't too childish, threatening. Alright, I think I got it. Bakugo interjected swiftly. Izuku's eyes lift up from the binder. You sure you don't want me to go on? A dangerous smile plays at the corner of Bakugo's lips. Are you trying to be cute? Izuku's cheeks immediately turn a vicious red as he sputters. No, I'm just making sure. There are still loads left to cover in here. I mean, look at this thing. Shuts the binder, holds it up. We can make an autobiography out of this. Or at least a partial one. Volume 1 of 5. See? This really shows the importance of utilizing your team. Although you may think you can handle any task on your own, you will find that your co-workers are your most important asset. Understand? Oh yeah, I understand. Katsuki nods with a stretched smile. You're a straight-up psycho. Izuku's eyes shut with a sigh. This man is really exhausting. A sudden thought occurs to Izuku. His lips tilt up into an amused smile as he closes the binder and sets it aside. You know, I bet the captain remembers you. Bakugo shoots him an incredulous look. Of course he does. He saw me this morning. I meant you from the past. Kid you. He clarifies. Bakugo's expression suddenly shifts into one of utter seriousness. Don't even joke about that. The retort causes Izuku to chuckle. Pushing himself out of his chair, he throws Bakugo a soft smile. Come on, let's go get coffee. I think we more than deserve it. Besides, that way we can take a short break before returning to work, as well as avoiding Uraraka's eavesdropping. I'm not eavesdropping! Uraraka blurs out from her desk. She looks abolished at having given herself away, but still remains confident when countering. Well, can you blame me? My desk is right opposite of yours. There's no way I cannot overhear. She does have a point. Bakugo relents. Izuku allows a sigh that he's been kept bottling up all day to finally fall out. Interesting. Okay, so it could very well be a game-related activity. Okay, alright. Also, was that flirting from Bakugo? Was that flirting from Bakugo? That are you trying to be cute? Or was that just him teasing? Well, wouldn't that be considered flirting? What is flirting? You know, like, what is flirting? Well, I know what flirting is. I do it a lot, but what is, well, nowadays, But what? Was that flirting? I don't know. I want to know your guys' opinions in the comments. Do you think Bakugo was flirting in that moment? Also, Uraraka, you and me both. I would be eavesdropping, even if I was across the goddamn, the room. I would find a way to eavesdrop. All right. I'm nosy. I'm nosy. I'm nosy, okay? Chisme is chisme, okay? I'm nosy. That's all I gotta say. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.